Hey everybody, welcome back to Pristine Podcast. My name is Leo and in this video we're going to talk about how to use Twitter to boost your podcast audience. The first thing you need to concentrate on when creating a Twitter account should be your brand's identity. So somebody that has listened to you in your podcast directory somewhere should be able to tell who you are and what you do just by looking at your account. Your bio should have a limit of only 160 characters though, so besides including your brand details, you should also have some personal stuff which will give your account some distinct flair, some personal spark to it, so this may take some time to perfect because obviously you have a limit of 160 characters and trying to come up with the right balance may take some time. You should include a link to your podcast somewhere where it's easy to find. Now the easiest place would be the bio, but since it only has a limit of 160 characters, what we can do is use a pinned tweet. Now remember that the goal of Twitter is to channel people from your Twitter through to your podcasts. So we should make it as easy as possible for people to be able to do it. Something else you can do with your pinned tweet also is to not only include your podcast directory, but also the most recent episode. Hashtags are also a good tool to use when it comes to boosting your discoverability and organizing your content that only belongs to you. But be sure that the hashtag that you decide to use is catchy, is easy to remember, and it only belongs to your show. Now that you've set up your Twitter profile, you can turn up your podcast followers into full-fledged members of your podcast community. The first types of content we can share would be some sort of sneak peeks or behind the scenes or upcoming episodes. The end result should be a video clip that you can post in your Twitter account. What you can use for this is videograms, which are a very fun way to advertise your show and to also entice or tease your listeners to listen to the full episode in your podcast directory. You could add some awesome behind the scene material you're sharing with your people, in addition to all the sneak peeks you're sharing with them. This could include to explain them how you've set up your scene, basically where you record, how you prepare for an episode, or who is coming as a guest in the future. Videos work very well in Twitter as well, so besides your audiograms and your sneak peeks and your behind the scene materials, you could also have these discussion videos. They're kind of short videos that you can delve into the topic that you covered recently, or you can pose random questions which you're interested in. These fast conversation style videos are going to help you reach a whole new audience that is very interested and fascinated in your discussion topics. And these people can also be led back to your podcast to listen to the full thing. These discussion videos are going to promote a lot of interaction between people, so you're going to see all sorts of conversations in the comments. But you should try to reply to as much of them as you can to also interact with people. And this interaction is very crucial when it comes to bonding with people and creating a strong community. If you're finding this information helpful and you want more podcasting tips in the future, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notified in the future whenever we upload new videos. Your fans probably found out about you by listening to your podcast, but they don't listen just to you, they listen to other podcasts as well. In fact, there's a term called a podcast person, and lots of people identify themselves by saying, I'm a podcast person. Knowing this, you should post some of your personal suggestions when it comes to other podcasts that you like, which can make for a good piece of content. Although this content isn't specifically related to your podcast content, it's based on the podcast industry as a whole. So by sharing this, you'll help your Twitter followers to become podcast devoted listeners. Another good tip is that on Twitter, the podcast recommendation tag is very popular and you can use that to share other people's podcasts, gain followers, and form connections with other podcasters. Visual content performs incredibly well on Twitter just like it does on any other social media, but if you combine the good looking side with the offering value side as well, you've scored big. So turning your episodes into eye-catching, good looking images that offer value as well on top of things is a very effective way to do this. These might be eye-catching graphics with tips and tricks that's relevant to your niche, or infographics with very good points, anything that can grab the attention of your followers. Besides sharing relevant information and being pretty, what you can also do with these images is make them in a way so that they pique the interest of your followers to learn more about a certain topic. And where can they learn more? Of course, your recent podcast episode. Going live is another great way of boosting your audience with Twitter. If you didn't already know, Twitter has a feature where it allows you to go live with a video or just with audio, which is especially nice for podcasters. Something extreme you can do using this feature is to record your next episode live while people can hear you record it. If you're making lots of mistakes while you're recording your episodes, that's not ideal because people will see how much mistakes you make. All for transparency, but they can make you sound a little bit bad. That's extreme for me. You can step it up by even recording yourself while you're doing it. Or if you don't want to do any of this, you can just do simple Q&A videos or interview somebody because we tend to make less mistakes when we're having a conversation. Now, as a general rule, you should try to be within your niche. Just because you're doing additional content other than your podcast, it doesn't mean that you should go far away from your niche, because all this content is going to be tailored to your target audience, and be sure that it's for them, not for you. If you want to grow your podcast faster and get more of your time back, then consider outsourcing podcast editing and post-production to me and my team. To learn more, check out the link in the description. As always, if you've enjoyed these tips, then don't forget to press the thumbs up and subscribe button for more podcast related content in the future. I'll see you again in the next video.